Oh, this is nice from Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, Chapter 12, verse 23. Lord Shiva is a celebrated, which means famous, demigod who awards gifts to beggars. His name is therefore Ashutosh, or one who is pleased very easily. Lord Shiva never denies anyone any sort of gift. So, of course, Raghunath Das Goswami, he prayed that he wants prema. That's the gift we want. As we mentioned earlier, that's the wealth we want, the wealth of prema. So we should, hopefully, that's what we beg Gopishwar for, the wealth of prema. It's okay. So in Brajariti Chintamani, Vishnu Chakravarti Pad, he has a nice verse glorifying Gopishwar. Gopisha Isha Satarisha Kone, Gopi Jananam Varador Chaniya, Shri Krishna Sangaya Yata Saduti, Jano Vinodena Mano Dinoti. Very beautiful verse. Varada. It's like that is there in Radha Kripa Kataksha. He bestows Gopi Jananam Varado Ishakone in the north. North of that, they're describing here different places. North of Brahmakund is Gopisha, where, worshipped by the gopis, Lord Shiva pleased the gopis' hearts by giving them the benediction to enjoy pastimes with Lord Krishna. Sri Krishna Sangaya Yata Saduti, Jano Vinodena Mano Dinoti. Sri Krishna Sangha. So the gopis, of course, we'll read elsewhere, that they would go after Gopishwara appeared there, which we'll hear, appeared in the for darshan, rasa dance. Then a linga was established there, and the gopis would worship that linga every day and pray to Gopishwara to remove all of the obstacles so they could have Sri Krishna Sangha, so they could meet with Sri Krishna without any obstacles. Duti Jana, messengers. So they wanted that benediction. That was a benediction they want, to enjoy pastimes with Krishna. So that's a nice benediction, to enjoy pastimes with Krishna, because now we're trying to enjoy pastimes without Krishna. and what is the result of those pastimes? There's some enjoyment, there's some suffering, because this is the middle planet. This is in the middle. So in the middle planetary system, on the Earth planet, you have 50% happiness and 50% distress, at best, if you're a lucky guy, if you're really lucky. But most people, they have like 60-40, or some people are like 70-30, 70% unhappiness and 30% happiness. So like that. So we're trying to enjoy as best we can, the body, mind, senses. But the gopis, they didn't have that idea. They said, we want to enjoy serving Krishna. That's also enjoyment, isn't it? Do you find pleasure serving Krishna? No? Then you might as well pack up and go home. Because if there's no pleasure, rasa vaitsa, that we are pleasure seekers. Ananda maya vyasat. The soul is made of ananda. Ananda means happiness, satisfaction, pleasure. If there's no joy in chanting Krishna's name, if your heart doesn't melt and your hair doesn't stand on end, or spin around or do something, then take prasadam. Then if your hair doesn't stand on end when you take prasadam, then, dance for Krishna. Somehow, something has to stand on end. Either your hair or your head or something. So Krishna is very, very pleasurable. So this is just one nice verse. And then in Stavavali, Brajavilas Stav by Raghunath Das Goswami, he has also some nice verses. But before we say those verses, let's discuss a little bit about the pastime of how Lord Shiva became a gopi. How is it he became a gopi? Do we ever hear of Indra becoming a gopi? Quite the opposite. Indra's got a pretty embarrassing history there. Not exactly Gopi Bhav. And then Brahma, no. But just see, who becomes gopis? Very, very special personalities. Narada Muni became gopi. Because why? How did he got the adhikar? Because he's always chanting Radhika Raman. So that, so he got the blessings of the Lord. And Yogamaya. And Lord Shiva became gopi. So that shows how intimate, how sweet the relationship is of Krishna and Lord Shiva. He allowed Shiva that privilege. So, I saw, sometimes it's told by people from Nimbark Sampradaya, who are quite prevalent in Vrindavan. They tell the story The Lord Shiva desired to enter the rasa dance. This is what they'll tell about Gopishwar if you ask the Brahmins from that side, because most of them are influenced by the Nimbarki teachings and stories. So they say that Lord Shiva, he wanted to enter the rasa dance, so he inquired how, and they said, you go across the river to Mansarovar. And you bathe the Mansarovar, because those are the tears of Radharani when she was in Man. She was sulking, in a sulking mood, because of being stood up by Krishna. And so she was crying over there, and then Krishna came to find her. It was during, well, they say it was related to rasa dance. And Radharani was crying there, and then Krishna came and saw her crying, and he became overwhelmed, seeing her sadness, and he started crying, and the combined river there made this, their tears, made this Sarovar, this lake called Mansarovar. I said, you bathe there, Lord Shiva, you take a bath there, and you'll get Gopi Rupa. So when you go there, all the pujaris over there at that Leela stali, they say like that. They'll say that Radharani came here and cried in Man in separation from Krishna, and Lord Shiva came here and bathed. However, we have our Sajatiya Snigdha, our Sajatiya. Jatiya means family, or Jati. Our family of Vaishnavas, or Gaudiya. We're Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So our illustrious acharyas, they explain like this. Sripad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, he explained that Gopishwar wanted to see the rasa dance, and he came to Vrindavan. And he was stopped by the gopis. And then they said, well, you can't come, because you have this Purusha Abhiman. You have this enjoying spirit. Purusha means man in one sense, but Purusha actually means enjoying. You have the mind, mentality, Abhiman, that I'm the enjoyer. And that there's no room for that in this Rasa Lila, because this is the epitome of Krishna's service. The topmost devotees here, the gopis who have completely surrendered to the Lord's pleasure and satisfaction, without even a drop of selfishness within them. So then, they said, you have to go do some austerities. So he did some austerities, and Purnamasi came and said, what are you doing all these austerities for? And he said, I want to see the rasa dance. So Purnamasi took Lord Shiva to Brahmakund. Brahmakund is right next to Rangam. What do you call it? It's called Rangaji. The Rangaji Mandir. On the north side of Rangaji is Brahmakund, which is rather dilapidated now. But our great Acharya, Bilvamangala Thakur, it's said by some that he lived there for 700 years. At any rate, he lived there a long time. On the banks of that Brahmakund, meditating and writing, he wrote Krishna Karnamrita, which was highly appreciated and relished by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At that Brahmakund, and it used to be in better repair, now it's very heartbreaking to see the condition of that kund. So he bathed there, and he became a beautiful gopi of 16 years old. And then Yogamaya said, you stay here, and you hide in this grove, some distance, and from here you can see the Rasa Lila. So during Rasa Lila, one night, Krishna was dancing with the gopis, and then he stopped, and he felt that there was some stranger here. And then Krishna asked, he said, why today there's no taste in happiness, there's no taste in ras or happiness coming from our rasa dancing? It seems that there's some unqualified person here. So then the gopis, they searched in the different kunjas. And they found this Shiva, and they caught him by the hand. And then the gopis asked, hey, Gopi, hey Sakhi, who are you? What is your name? Who is your husband? Where are you born? Who's your Yuteshwari? Who's your group leader? And Lord Shiva, he got this gopi form by the blessings of Yogamaya and Brajadam and his austerities and everything, by bathing in Brahmakunda, Dham, Kripa. But Yogamaya, Purnamasi, didn't tell him anything in the details, didn't give him any license or passport or voter's ID or anything. So he didn't. When the cops stopped him, he didn't have any identification. What is your name? Where are you from? This, that. Who's your husband? So they were like, where's your home? What is your gopigan? Your husband? Where were you married? What's the name of your mother and father? But Yogamaya had not told Shankar, so he could not answer. So Gopishwar, he was not coming in a disciplic order, and he had not served any bona fide guru, so he could not answer. That's nice. He could not answer. So then what did the gopis do? They started slapping him in the cheeks. You nonsense! And who are you? What's your name? Just like if you get arrested by the enemy during war, like you're an agent, and then you get arrested. You get caught by the enemy. Then they take you in. They start slapping you around. Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? So the gopis were slapping Shankar, and his cheeks were getting swollen, and they started punching him. And Shankar's mouth was swollen. He was crying out, and Gopishwar started crying. Oh, Yogamaya, come save me! I never come here again. I never come to Vrindavan. I never want to come. I don't want to take part in this Rasa Lila. So Yogamaya came and told the gopis. He said, "Listen, leave him alone." By my blessing, he would never just slap at him, punch him. Help, Yogamaya, stop! Oh no! I don't want to come here. I don't want to see the Rasa Lila. I don't want to be a Vrindavan. Let me out of here. Let me go to Kailash. Help, Yogamaya! So then, then Yogamaya came, right? You call out to Yogamaya, and then she'll come to your rescue. But do you ever call out to Yogamaya? Do you ever pray to Purnamasi? And there's 4 Devis. There's 4 Devis that are very important to pray to in Vrindavan. You never prayed to them once. One of them is Brinda Devi. One of them is Manasi Devi, Manasi Ganga. And one is Purnamasi. And the other one's Pataleshwari Devi, I believe. Pataleshwari Devi in Mathura. So these 4 Devis, they're very merciful. Ladies are usually a little compassionate, a little kind. So we see that our acharyas, they teach us to pray, offer prayers to Purnamasi and Manasi Devi, especially to Brinda Devi. So Yogamaya came and said, "Stop! Stop beating him up. This is Shankar." He became a gopi by my mercy. So, and he wants, and then so Yogamaya said he became a gopi by my blessings, and he wants to surrender to you and the gopis and Krishna, so he can see the rasa dance. So please give him your mercy. Please bestow your mercy upon him. So then Krishna and the gopis accepted her and named her Gopishwar, Mahadev, because the gopis are the Ishvari of that Shankara. So he is Gopishwar. Oh, that's interesting. So Narayana Maharaj said like that. The gopis are his Ishvari. So in other words, Shankar, Lord Shiva, who is that Shankar, or Lord Shiva, who is controlled by, or you can say, controlled by the gopis, is called Gopishwar. The Ishvari. The Ishvari means the feminine controller. So the controller, that's an interesting explanation of the name Gopishwar. So the gopis named Shiva, gopis in his gopi form as Gopishwar. She whose Ishvara controllers are the gopis. And the gopis bless Shiva to become a guard at the rasa dance. Without her sanction, no one is able to enter. We can go to any. Then Prabhupada says, we can go to any demigod, Ganapati, everyone. But our prayer should be, please give us Krishna. Then it is correct. Whatever possible facility is available from any person, you beg for it for Krishna's service, not for our personal service. Shiva became a gopi form, yet he still kept some of his abhiman as Shankara, this Purusha, the enjoyers. So he became a chokidar. He could not enter the Rasa Lila. That's why we said earlier, he saw Rasa Lila from a distance. Because you see where the Gopishwar Mandir is, where you all went today, I guess. And if we had the eyes of Premanjana, we would see that this is actually, this is the gateway into, because right where that's located is exactly the eternal location in the spiritual world, in Aprakrita, Vrindavan. That's exactly where Gopishwar is. And exactly north of there, where the Vamshivad is, that is basically, that's the exact place of the rasa dance. So he's not there, although they have some, in the Lila Stali they have some deity of Gopishwar. But he's actually positioned there at the temple of Gopishwar. So he's like seeing it, because he'll see it's a few hundred meters away, right? So he's a chokidar.